Hello, music community, vinyl community, all of you out there who are watching. Jeff here. I figured I'd put a quick video together of some of the latest things I got. The other day I did a video on tourniquet. I left that alone since I wanted to do more about tourniquet. So I did that one as a one-off of a new vinyl that came in. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest of the things that came in prior to that and the things I picked up in the past couple days. Also, in talking about Tourniquet the other day, I mentioned that their new album was coming, Gazing at Medusa, and excited. Today I got the email for the download link, so I've downloaded it. I haven't listened to it yet because I'm going to make this video first, but the actual new album songs, I now have the download digital version, and then the vinyl, I guess, is coming out when it's released in November. Anyway, so yesterday in the mail, I got an album, which I'm sure the majority of you out there who are into this kind of music already have. And you're like, oh, well, Jeff, what's the big deal about this album? Because you're late to the game. We all got that months ago. All right, true. Now, I'm not always able to grab the latest and greatest that comes out. You have to wait till finances come around. But I use a program to monitor Amazon and keep an eye on prices. A program called Camel.com. And what it does is basically I put in there my wish list albums that I want, and I can list a price that I'd like to see it, alert me when it gets below this price, and then I'll get an email. And anyway, so this one popped up the other day, and it's a new release, and it's something, like I said, everybody's probably got. And it popped up. I'll show it to you now. It's, of course, it's just Judas Priest's Firepower. I don't know which way is better without a glare because I got the windows open. Anyway, new release, I've been listening to it online and everything, but I had it on my wish list to get. Well, it popped up on the Camel alert that somebody was selling a new copy of this on Amazon for a little over $12. Under 13, it's $12 and change. So, of course, I jumped on it because even with shipping, it was $16. Everybody knows this is a double album, $16. That's a good price. It was a typical black album. Anyway, black vinyl. So it came in yesterday. I was like, oh, goody, But lo and behold, it's not a black album. It's the red marble. Now, I don't know. I didn't even go online to see the prices if it was any different. But if black was standard, I'm assuming red may have been a different price. Anyway, I was excited because now I have the red edition of Firepower, and I paid around $16 for it. So that was exciting. That's new. That just came in yesterday. Now, a couple of these other ones I picked up yesterday at a local record store. We got 4 vinyl shops within 30 minutes of where I am, 20 to 33. I'm within 20 minutes. One of them is just a little further, next town over. And so some of them have good things, and some of them, you just kind of have other things. And I went to the one that I don't go to quite as often, and they have a lot of good things, but their prices are a lot more than the others. So anyway, I went yesterday, had some time on that part of town. I went over there and I grabbed some 80s things to fill in some gaps. Now, these are, again, nothing that I'm sure the majority of you don't already have, but I figured I'd show them. This one, I mentioned a month or more back on the video that I wanted it. This was one of the ones I needed, but I finally got me a copy of Night Ranger's Dawn Patrol. Now, because I have like the second and third, and I mentioned this on one of the videos, and I really wanted to get it. Anyway, I got a copy, and it was a good price. It was under $10, or like $7. The cover is like, it is almost new. The vinyl is near mint. They listed it as very good. It just is a really, really good copy. Let's see the history of this with me, Night Ranger. Okay, this came out, 82? Anyway, I had seen, before Night Ranger was anybody, Brad Gillis, a guitar player, of course, took over for Randy Rhoads in Ozzy's band. And so he did the Speak of the Devil Black Sabbath tour with Ozzy doing all the Black Sabbath songs. I saw that tour, saw Brad Gillis, because we loved Ozzy, so we'd always seen him. Saw Brad Gillis, loved Ozzy, loved Brad Gillis. So when all of a sudden Brad Gillis' band, Night Ranger, comes out, of course I grabbed it and fell in love with it. Played this album to death. I love all Night Ranger albums, but this one still gets the most attention from me. I still play this one. It's, I guess, nostalgia. I guess because I played it so much to death back in the day. So I was glad to finally get this on vinyl again. Another one, Quiet Riot, Condition Critical. I had picked up the first album a while back. I got the third album, so now I have the second. This one is still in shrink wrap, though it is open. Very good condition. The inner sleeve, again, to me, almost looks near mint. The cover, of course, in the shrink wrap is pretty much mint condition. So really excited to get this. Again, decent price. So I was able to get that. And then this is one that I've heard people mention in videos recently. If you don't have this, or if you don't like this, you don't know what metal is, I heard somebody say. Anyway, Kick-X, their first one. Loved this album when it came out. Had this album when it came out. Hated that video that they did for it. The guy running around in his bare feet. Thought it was kind of corny in the schoolroom stuff, but love the album. Have the CD, have all the CDs, but it was great to get this. Again, just excellent quality. The cover doesn't show any ring wear. It's all nice. The album is pretty, so I was excited to pick up these three 80s masterpieces. And then speaking of 80s, this one I ordered and it came in. Again, it was one of those camel deals where it dropped down to under $15. So I grabbed it. It is a reissue, the modern day reissue, 180 gram, Lizzie Borden. Love You to Pieces. It is on marbly looking blue. Love Lizzie Borden. Want to get the rest of his stuff. The second album popped up on the Camel yesterday, and it was like 17 or 18. I wanted to let it get down a little bit more, so with shipping it's still under 20. Love these early albums. Great stuff. So glad to have that. Now, in one of my previous videos, actually the Twisted Sister artist profile that I did, I mentioned, I had all the Twisted Sister vinyls, but I mentioned how I wanted to get the original Under the Blade, which I finally did. I went ahead and made myself, since I talked about it in the video, went ahead and jumped on Discogs and found a copy in really good condition for a really good price. Definitely didn't mind. It's in like a really great condition. Secret. So now I have both mixes. The cover's in decent shape. A couple dings, a couple creases just on the edges a little bit, but I am not going to complain. The vinyl is in excellent condition. And so this is the version that I grew up listening to, because I had this before they came out with the remix one a couple years later, and still my favorite mix, just raw and just a little fatter sounding. So great. Excited to have that back again. And this is one for people who are into Christian music. The same guy who was selling the Twisted Sister had a copy of Petra, This Means War, for just a few bucks. It's in really good condition. Album cover only shows a little minor ring wear. So I figured, it's the same shipping cost. At one point, somebody tried to sell for $1. Here's somebody sold for $3.99. I didn't rip these off because they're stuck right on the cover, unfortunately. And they're not coming off very easy, so I left them on there for now. Great album. I remember when this came out. I had the CD long box for this, and I cut this out, and I used to have it on my desk. It still was on my desk. I had the top of my desk, and it was on there with a bunch of other artwork. It's been on there since it came out in the 80s. I only recently, literally when I moved, I think, this shelf in here 3 months ago, I took that part of the desk apart and threw it away, and this is over here, is in a box over here, so I want to pull it out. So one of my favorite, I don't want to say that anymore. I love all the Petra albums, but this one was really great. I remember this one as if it were yesterday, and it wasn't. It was like 87. Anyway, that is all that I have in for now. That one I keep talking about, that vinyl that I'm waiting for, I finally got confirmation that it was shipped like yesterday or Friday. So I'm expecting that any day now. And then I'm going to do another artist profile on that particular vinyl when it comes in. So excited about that. Let's talk real quickly. I don't know if I want to make this a thread, but if anybody wants to respond, that's great. What's so great about the 80s? All the albums I showed today are from the 80s. I'm an 80s kid. I know there's a lot of you out there. I watch a lot of the videos. People talk about being an 80s kid. Loving 80s music. So we've got all these different decades of music. And those of us who grew up in the 80s say 80s is the best music. I say 80s is the best music. 70s is a real close coming in right behind. I zoned out for the 90s, and most of the 90s and 2000s and present, I tend to either buy albums by bands who were in the 80s and who are still making music, or I look to Europe where there's a lot of metal, melodic metal. So when I talk about the 80s, I am talking more the metal of the 80s. Nowadays people call it hard rock, glam rock, hair metal. I don't mind any of those. All those are fine for talking about that. I know they use hair metal as derogative. I'm not going to complain too much. But I am that type of fan. Back in the day, bandanas and hairspray and makeup, and I was buying it. Look at the back of an album cover. If they look like that, I was going to buy it. I still consider that my preference of metal. I do consider it metal because at the time that was metal. Yeah, there were other bands that were metal. There was Judas Priest and bands that didn't match. There was Exciter. I listened to a lot of metal, Metallica, all that stuff. But it's just all different types of metal. So to me, that's my opinion, whatever yours is. Now, to me, what made the 80s so great? Why do I feel the 80s were better than most? Well, musically, I like the melodic metal. I like the melodic music that I can understand the vocals, I can sing along. I like the anthems. I like the funness of the songs. But really, to me, the thing that made the 80s so great was that back then, and in the 70s to a degree, there was a lot of it in the 70s. 80s, it was a lot there too. We've kind of lost it, is the fact that it was about the music and the show. Bands would dress in such a way that it wasn't like they just walked off the street. They dressed for a show. There was big stage shows. There were big lights. There were big smoke machines. Now, yeah, does it detract from the music? No, not to me. It enhanced the music. I can listen to the album and love the music. But when I go see a band live, I want to see a performance. I want to see them not only, I want to hear the sounds, but I want to see the sights. And back then, bands would go the extra mile with big stage shows, big lights, fireworks, smoke, and costumes, and makeup. And they didn't just come out there as if they walked off the street. They came out there dressed for a performance. They came out there to be somebody else, to be a different persona on stage to a degree. Now, of course, Kiss did this in the 70s, Alice Cooper, all the bands that did that in the 70s, it just, became more or less the norm in the 80s. Bands dressed for success. They dressed in such a way that it was, not just like they came up off the street and were jamming some music. It was about a show. And I like that, and I kind of miss that for bands who don't do it, who just get up there and play. Yeah, music's great. I can listen to the CD, I can listen to the album and get the music. When I come see you, dazzle me with the show. So that's what I appreciated about the whole hair metal days, is when you went and saw a band, you were seeing people perform these songs that I was already familiar with. And they were performing them in a way with, with the stage shows and stuff. So that's what I like the 80s. I thought the 80s not only were great musically, but visually. I like the visuals. Nowadays, when you see most normal bands, they're kind of boring. So, I still love the music of some of the bands, but it's just nice when they had that little extra, that little going above and beyond by putting on a show. So that's what I appreciate. What's your opinion? Comment below. Like this video, please. Share if you wouldn't mind, and tell your friends. And thanks a lot for watching. Rock on.